Hi, everybody. Dan Ullman, Matt Bernier, the DRF.com Formulator Race of the Day for Thursday, October the 19th. Race number 8 at Keeneland. Let's take a look at the field for the Grade 3 Sycamore Stakes going 1.5 miles on the turf. It's a $100,000 event. Head on over to the Race of the Day event page on DRF.com. Download your free Formulator past performances and handicap along with us as we take this field in post-position order. Matt will begin with the number 1 final copy, a rallying fourth last time out in the Grade 3 Commonwealth Derby. This horse finished second in one of the legs of the Canadian Triple Crown 2 starts back at this distance on turf. I think getting back out to 1.5 miles is really going to help this horse.
A little bit slow right now, but at the same time you look at it, you see he's a 3-year-old that continues to progress. He's got that upward progression going on right now. I think the additional distance is only going to be beneficial, and you look at it and say, you know what, if anyone's going to take another step forward, maybe it's him.
The key to this race might very well be the number 2. That's Some Time, who in his most recent start just exploded at 12-1 to win the Grade 3 Louisville Handicap at Churchill Downs. He overcame a little bit of traffic and upper stretch, and once he altered course to the outside, he was full of flight. And that was a pretty live race, that Louisville Handicap. The issue is that race was in May 20th. We have not seen him since. I believe Kenny McPeak said on Twitter the horse had a little bit of a setback. They were going to run him in the Belmont Gold Cup at 2 miles. So we haven't seen this horse since May. If he runs that Louisville Handicap, he's winning.
Period. It's one of those things cut and dry. If he comes back as good as last time we saw him, he's going to win this race. The problem is, what horse are we going to get? Are we going to get the same horse we saw in that most recent start? It's worth noting, not only has he been gone for some time, but you've got a big gap in the workout tab recently. I know he's strung together 3 consecutive works, which is good, but at the same time, clearly something was amiss here. You don't just put away good horses.
Right, you don't put away good horses when they're in peak form. McPeak, one of the best in the country. May 20th, though, the last race for Some Time. 3 is Canissar, and this horse I thought looked pretty good in his North American debut, the Laurel Turf Cup on September the 16th, going out for Arnaud Delacour. Nice solid rally at 1.5 miles to beat some of these horses. This horse is a major contender.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to be coming from the back of the pack. I don't think pace is going to be an issue for anyone in here. You're going to have every opportunity if you're good enough. This is a horse, like you say, second off the bench. There's no reason to think that you get another, or you can't get another forward move in here for Delacour. I think there's a lot to like about this horse.
It looked like the connections of the 4 Tacit found a great spot. Pennsylvania bred found State Bred Company in a $100,000 stakes race at Parks last time out. He was bet to even money, and he had a miserable trip.
Yeah, he was stuck in behind horses for a long, long time. I don't know that I want to go as far as to say, agree with the small, short comment saying blocked repeatedly. I think it was a matter of he was in behind horses on the far turn, but really, down the lane, he had every opportunity. They got him out into the clear, and he just never ran. I wonder if that was simply a means to an end to get to a race like this, knowing that distance is his friend, knowing that Keeneland, he's had success there in the past. I just wish I had seen more down the lane last time.
Additional distance, you're right, could be his friend in this spot. Tobias doesn't duck anybody. He is wheeling back on short notice. He's 1 for 37 lifetime, but on occasion, he comes and runs a big race.
Yeah, on occasion, but boy, it's hard to back him in his current form.
1 for 37, maybe a horse to use on the bottom of your superfectas. The 6 is Renown, a horse that they tried a little bit different tactics last time out in the Laurel Turf Cup. I thought he was a bit of a runaway. And he opened up a giant lead early and then was eaten up late by Canissar. Maybe it was just simply a situation where Chris DiCarlo needs to get to know this horse a little bit, because he can be a little bit washed out before his race, is a little bit temperamental.
Yeah, the good thing about this horse, he's had success at Keeneland already.
Won this race last year.
Won this race last year. You know he's going to be, I don't want to say he's guaranteed to be forwardly placed, but he's at least shown now he's got a little bit of ability where he can go to the forward or he can come from off of it. We've seen that in the past. I got to be honest, I think he's a logical player in here. I just don't know that I really want him on top at what should be a middling number.
Let's see where our friends at Timeform US have him in the early portion of this race via the Timeform US pace projector. And surprisingly, they dove Renown not even in the picture as a deep closer, and he was 6 lengths clear after the second call of his most recent race. So this pace might be solid. The 7 Majestic Pride, you understand why Timeform US has this horse on the lead. The last time he raced on the turf, he was a gate-to-wire winner at Canterbury.
You know, the interesting thing is you go through, I mean, obviously 2 of his last 3 starts have been on the dirt, and I don't want to hold those against him. You go back, you've got a turf race in between those 2 that was very, very good, and you go 4 starts back. He just lost by a head behind Hey Dakota. I'm a little bit concerned about the distance. I don't know. It's going to be the first time they've really stretched him all the way out, but it's hard for me to knock a horse that his turf form is very, very good.
Yeah, good race last time out on the turf. 2 back, beating Patriots Rule, who came back winning it off the turf race, beating Majestic Pride with a 95 Beyer speed figure. Hardest Core, winner of the Arlington Million in 2014. Unfortunately for Hardest Core, the Keeneland graduate has just been unable to string races together due to various physical problems, and his most recent return off a year-plus layoff had to be considered disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously disappointing. He was bet down to 4-1 in that spot up at Woodbine, and he just never really did any sort of running. I guess the thing is, even at this point in his career, you wonder, he probably needed that
Absolutely.
one. I'm not going to hold that against him, but at the same time, my goodness, 7 years old, he's had a couple of year-plus layoffs. There's just a part of me that says, I don't know if he can do it anymore.
Brian Lynch has done a very nice job with the 9 Infinite Wisdom, a gate-to-wire winner going 13 furlongs at Saratoga, 2 starts back, a race which was basically handed to him on a silver platter. Last time out, he was denied the lead in the Laurel Turf Cup. I thought he ran okay, but he might be in chase mode again in this spot.
Yeah, the weird thing about Infinite Wisdom, he's shown in the past the ability to pass horses, but all of his wins have come in gate-to-wire fashion. There's a part of me that doesn't think he's going to make the front in here with a couple other horses that have got some good early speed. If they choose to try to come from off of it, sure, he has an opportunity. To me, he's an underlay, though.
The 10 Flashy Chelsea must be respected simply for the fact that Michael Maker saw enough to claim this horse for 62.5, 5 starts back. How many times have we seen it? Maker claim horses eventually become graded stakes winners. Flashy Chelsea, though, has not lived up to expectations yet. Maker put the blinkers on, 2 starts back. He's been fiddling, and with the horse, maybe the distance will help him.
With Mike Maker, you have the utmost confidence, but even at this point with this horse, usually you see him, he goes in, dips, takes him, stretches him out, they turn into something pretty quickly. You get a pretty good return on the investment immediately. This horse, now he's putting blinkers on, he's trying to change things, stretching him back out. There's a part of me that wonders, maybe this is going to be one of those rare instances where even for Maker, it's not going to work.
The 11 Big Bend does just relish stretching out the distance. 2 starts back, getting an opportunity to go 1.5 miles. Gate-to-wire winner, came right back in the Dueling Grounds Derby. Gate-to-wire winner, but as we saw from the Timeform US Pace Projector, company perhaps on the front end this time around.
I think that's the biggest concern if you like this horse. So far, he's 3 for 3 as far as gate-to-wire wins. It's the only way that he's won thus far in his career. I don't think he's going to make the front.
I'm not going to fault Nessie for finishing 7th in the Kentucky Turf Cup. That race produced Bullard's Alley. He came back with that explosive effort on a boggy turf course at Woodbine in the Canadian International. His prior race, the Johns Call, you can argue he was pace compromised in against Infinite Wisdom. I think he's going to get a fair chance this time around, and at a price you can use him.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. He's done some decent enough things at Keeneland in the past. He's run second in 2 or 3 occasions. I mean, you go back 4 starts when you had that run at Churchill. There's a part of me that wonders, now, look, maybe he wants a little bit of cut in the ground, but at the same time, I'm not going to fault anyone that says, you know what, I want to use him somewhere.
I want to talk about Big Bend for Tommy Proctor. We have a formulator fact, a positive one. Past 4 years, last out winning turf router, second off the layoff in graded stakes, 27%, 265 ROI. Again, lightly raced horse, upside potential, but must deal with a perhaps a more strenuous pace scenario than he's used to. Let's get to Manitoulin, the beautifully bred number 13 Manitoulin. Ever since he was gelded, this horse has turned the corner. And I think, as you mentioned earlier on in the piece, it's very important that this horse has proven form at Keeneland.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, he's never been out of the exacta from 2 lifetime starts. He has a victory over the Keeneland turf course. I think he has the ability, instead of being that confirmed 1-run closer, he has the chance to sit a little bit closer if Florent Giroux gets him into the running earlier. The biggest concern I have is, boy, that 13 post, that's not going to be any sort of bargain. You're going 3 turns here, keep in mind, 1.5 miles. You're going to have to try to save ground at some point.
There might be no choice just to take back out of the gate, settle in towards the rear of the field, and hope for the best to avoid traffic a little bit later on, and perhaps get some pace up front. As we take a look at our top selection for the Grade 3 Sycamore, we agree. We're both going to go with the number 2, Some in Time. I have to admit, the layoff really distresses me, but I really like the way he won that Louisville handicap. To me, he's the kind of horse, maybe the one horse in this race that could go on a run, perhaps next year in these sort of longer distance graded races, if he stays healthy.
Yeah, this is a really tricky spot because I think he, from a quality standpoint, lays over this field. The problem is you don't know what you're going to get, and I have a feeling, I know he's 9-2 on the morning line, I have a feeling he might go off as the favorite in this spot simply because everybody saw what we saw, that he looked so good there at Churchill last time out. Problem is last time was back in May. I don't know how short I'd want to go on him.
Matt's going to go 2, 13, 3, and 6. I'm going to go 2, 13, 1, and 3 in the Grade 3 Sycamore, the feature race at beautiful Keeneland on Thursday. If you are playing that card from home, please sign up to DRF Bets. Nice fall deal. $300 bonus just waiting for you when you head on over to drf.com/fall and use the promo code FALL300. Approximate post time for the Sycamore, race number 8 at Keeneland on Thursday, 4:57 Eastern. Best of luck.